Have you ever thought of life without a state? Without a government? Most people seem to think that without government would ensue chaos upon the world. Well, the first question is, what would you do if the government fell off the earth today? Would you go attacking your neighbors because there is no law around? A crook knows that if he attacked/robbed the man would not say, well, there isn't a cop in sight, here is my money and belongings. No, the man would forcibly resist. A crook does not care whether the man has a badge or no badge, he cares whether he will be harmed or not. Even a simple threat of harm to the crook would 9 out of 10 times deter him from doing the crime. To further explain what I mean, let's use an example. The first example will be in a stateless society. Example 2 will be in a state society. Example 1, a man steals a car. The man it was stolen from would quickly pick up on it and attempt to find his car. Obviously his car is easily spotted because he uses it frequently. As soon as it is seen, the man will take it back, by force if necessary. Example 2, a man steals a car. The man the car was stolen from then tells the state enforcers/cops that his car was stolen. It could potentially take weeks for the police to find the car. Once the car is found, the man does not get his car back yet. The man who stole it would get a fair trial on the matter. Also, noting trials can take a while due to other reasons for the court to be in use. So at this point the car is still not returned to the man. When it comes time for the trial, the thief could have an excellent lawyer, or the judge simply could not like the man whose car got stolen. Normally the thief would have justice, but in some cases the thief would get away with the crimes. So at this point in example 1, the man gets his car back the very first day. In example 2, the man doesn't get his car back until a few weeks later. He might not even get it back at all. Which do you prefer, getting justice the day it happens, or going through the legal process of waiting weeks and weeks, or getting it the first day on your own terms? Also, the legal system is flawed in other ways as well. If you live in city or even a slightly big town, you know if a person does something such as harms your property and you don't know the person, it is right to tell the police. If you have ever done this, what happens is pretty simple. You go to the police, then tell them. All they do is write the investigation down on a piece of paper and then say, we'll get back to you once we're done. 9 out of 10 times they will never get back to you. Why? It is because they don't care and it isn't worth their time. Take it like this: a man's house gets spray painted and he then hires you to find out who did it. Who will have more want/inspiration to find it? Option A, you, who doesn't care because it wasn't your property. Option B, him, because he is angry at the person who did it and wants to find him. You decide. That is basically how a cop feels. It's not my problem, so I don't need to fix it. Most cops join the law enforcement to feel like a big and bad authority figure. You cannot even begin to imagine how many ways that the world is the opposite of what you believe. You see the guy who sells drugs to willing customers to feed his family as the scum of the earth, while you see the hypocrite who gives away stolen money in the name of government as a saint. You see the guy who tries to avoid being robbed by the federal thugs as a crook and a tax cheat, but see a politician virtuous as he gives away stolen money to other people in the name of the government as a saint. You see the cop as a good guy when he drags a man away from his friends and family, then throws him in prison for 10 years for smoking a leaf. You see anyone who defends himself from such barbaric fascism as the lowest form of life. A cop killer. In reality, most drug dealers are more virtuous than any government social worker. Prostitutes are far less to be ashamed of than political wars, because they trade with only what is rightfully theirs, and only those who want to trade with them. Larken Rose, you are part of the most destructive cult in history. That cult is called the state. You were lied to at a young age to have belief in authority. The hardest step is the first step to stop believing in authority. Stop thinking you have the right to rule or be ruled. To get yourself to set aside your blind faith in the religion of authority long enough to think about things. To back up and say maybe government doesn't have the right to rule me. The only way to truly be free, to truly have a good life, is to set aside your blind faith religion and truly be free. The state is a cult. All it does is get people together and say, here is how you will live, and you will pray and call it Pledge of Allegiance. If you want the world fixed, you pray to government to fix it. That is all government is a big cult. What is the solution, you might ask? The solution is anarchy. When the average person hears the word anarchy, his mind immediately fills with misconceptions and false assumptions. Voluntarists, also known as anarchists, often have to spend more time explaining all the things that anarchy does not mean than they do explaining what it does mean. For example, anarchy does not mean chaos, violence, and lawlessness. Voluntarism, also known as anarchy, is the only way to ever have a peaceful society. You simply cannot have a peaceful society by using force. Getting peace from force is like trying to get love or hate.